put on the coffee, and get ready to open the scriptures. It's time for Bible with the Barbers. Now, here's Terry and Mary Dannielle.
We're back.
We are back, and we're going to talk today about St. Joseph and his role. And we titled the show, How St. Joseph Saved Christmas. Well, what on earth? What are you talking about? What do you mean St. Joseph saved Christmas? Well, who was St. Joseph? Well, in the genealogy, Joseph was the son of Jacob. Mm-hmm. And he was the husband of Mary, of whom Jesus was born, who is called the Christ. So that's in the beginning of Matthew's Gospel, Matthew 1, verses 15 through 16. And so Joseph is the husband of Mary. And it's of Mary that Jesus is born. Well, a husband, what is he supposed to do? Husband, father, he's supposed to protect and watch over and provide for the family, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we have right after the genealogy, we have the story of now how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. This is in Matthew 1, verse 18, following. When Mary, his mother, had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child by the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to send her away quietly. But as he considered this, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary, your wife, into your home, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit, and she will bear a son, and you will call his name Jesus. For he will save his people from their sins. And all this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph awoke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord had commanded him. He took his wife, but knew her not until she had borne a son, and he called his name Jesus. So, the birth of Jesus comes about in this manner. Mary and Joseph are betrothed. Now remember, betrothal in the Jewish, this is not engagement.
Nope.
The marriage contract was written. They are legally married.
Right.
There's no breaking this contract except through a divorce or through death. So Mary is not an unwed mother. Unplanned pregnancy, yeah. Mary had taken a vow of virginity. She planned to be a handmaid of the Lord, to serve the Lord. And Joseph had to agree to this. So Joseph knew that she had taken this vow. And they had agreed that this would be a virginal marriage. So was the pregnancy unplanned? Yeah. By Mary and Joseph it was unplanned, but not by God. God had a plan. And Mary and Joseph were trying to cooperate in God's plan. So Joseph, now, people say, oh, well, he suspected her of adultery and he was so upset and he just was, well, it doesn't say here he was angry. And would he have suspected her of adultery, or maybe she had been violated? Remember, she went up to, the hill country of Judea for 3 months to stay with Elizabeth. Maybe someone had violated her, someone had attacked her. Father William Wagner of the Orders Canonical of the Holy Cross, who does the work of the Opus Angelorum, he did a whole set on, it's 2 full CDs, so it's 2 full hours on the trial of St. Joseph. And it would be very worth your while to, type in opusangelorum.org and look for the set on St. Joseph by Father Wagner and go ahead and get that. You get a fuller picture. Mm-hmm. But we have to understand who St. Joseph is. How are we going to understand this passage? What's really going on here? Well, it says St. Joseph was a just man, unwilling to expose her to the law. What are they referring to? Well, one of the characteristics of a just man is that he will never make a judgment based on contradictory evidence. What am I getting at? Well, would he have considered the possibility Mary had been unfaithful or had been violated? He would have probably considered both those possibilities. Mm-hmm. What was the contradictory evidence? First of all, he had known Mary. He grew up in Nazareth. He knew Mary, saw her grow up. He saw the evident holiness of her life. He's married to this woman. He knows her in terms of her holiness, her commitment to God. He knows that she's made this vow of virginity, and now she's pregnant. Okay, so he would look at her. Is she still at peace? Is she still exuding this evident fullness of her union with God? that he had seen in her before she went up to the hill country of Judea. And yes, there's no evidence within Mary that she has violated their marriage, so she hasn't committed adultery. And there's no evidence within Mary that she has been violated, so she hasn't been violated. So what does Joseph have on his hands? He's got a pregnant virgin on his hands. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait a minute. There's only one there's only one prophecy. This is the virgin of Isaiah who's going to bear the Messiah. But the Messiah has to be born of a virgin. Mary's married to me. If I marry her, everybody's going to think that I'm the father of this child. Yeah. And then how is the prophecy fulfilled? That the virgin gave birth. And Joseph, notice what he does.
Tell us.
He makes a decision. You know, oftentimes we have decisions to make in life, mm-hmm. and we just kind of sit on the fence and say, well, let's see how things turn out. Let's just wait and see how things turn out. And we wait and we wait, and we're letting life happen to us, and we're not making decisions. We need to make a decision. You know, you think you have a vocation, make a decision one way or the other. Lord, I think I'm called to marriage, and I think I'm supposed to marry this person. Well, then ask him.
Exactly.
Take the steps. If it's not right, if it's not the right course, the Lord will show you. Joseph decided to divorce Mary quietly. Father William points out something very interesting about this reality. Had Joseph divorced her publicly, denounced her publicly that she was pregnant, she'd have been stoned. Okay, that was the law. He decides to divorce her quietly. Well, Mary is married to Joseph. So if Mary is married to Joseph and Joseph divorces her, now it's like, okay, gets the lady pregnant and he's walking out on her. Joseph is going to be looked down upon for the rest of his life, that he walked out on his wife because she was pregnant.
Right.
Because if she had violated the law, if she had been an adulteress, he was supposed to report her and she was supposed to be stoned. So by deciding to divorce her quietly, it's going to look like Joseph is reneging on his responsibility. And Joseph is willing to take that. He's willing to take all the ignominy upon himself in order to safeguard what he believes is the plan of God. And by the way, St. Thomas Aquinas and St. Bernard of Clairvaux believe this reverence. He has this reverence in the presence of the mystery of God. Was there perplexity? Yeah. He has to pray. He has to, what is going on here? I know this woman. She's vowed her virginity to God. She's a holy woman. There's no evidence that she's violated that vow of virginity. Mm-hmm. You know, she has the same peace, the same union with God, the same grace seems to be within her. So he has this reverence before the mystery of God that if he gets involved, it's going to mess up God's plan, mm-hmm. because then it will appear that Joseph is the father, but I'm not. This is God's child somehow. He didn't fully understand. He just knew that, and then the angel tells him, yes, what is in her is conceived of the Holy Spirit. But it's God's work. God is working in Mary in a way that I do not understand. But if she's the virgin of Isaiah, then she needs to be a virgin. She's married to me. If I take her into my home, then,